My mother-in-law planted a man's watch in my car to frame me for cheating. My husband believed her and threw me out. I checked the dash cam. It showed his mom breaking in. I sent the video to my husband with the caption, "Enjoy living with your mom." I'm sitting on the edge of a cheap motel bed, the kind where the sheets smell faintly of bleach and old air, trying to slow my breathing enough to think clearly. Yesterday, my husband threw my clothes onto the front lawn and changed the locks. Not because I cheated, not because he caught me lying, but because his mother planted a man's watch in my car, and he believed her. It was heavy. That's the detail that won't leave my head. A thick leather strap, a wide metal face, masculine in a way that made it impossible to explain away. Not something I would ever wear, not something I'd ever buy, not something that could belong to me by accident. Yet there it was, according to her. I keep replaying the moment in my mind. Me standing barefoot in the driveway, keys still in my hand. My husband's jaw clenched so tight I thought his teeth might crack. His mother just behind him, arms folded, eyes sharp, with something that looked a lot like satisfaction. "Do you want to explain this?" he asked, holding the watch up between us. I remember staring at it, my brain going blank. I've never seen that before. His mother didn't even let me finish breathing. "We found it under the passenger seat," she said calmly. "Another man's watch. Care to explain that?" The word another landed like a slap. I denied it, over and over. My voice shaking, hands trembling, heart pounding so hard it felt like it was trying to escape my chest. I told him there was no other man, that I'd never touched anyone else, that this made no sense. But sense didn't matter. Her voice kept filling the space between us. "Trust your instincts. Where there's smoke, there's fire." I tried to warn you about her. After an hour of accusations, tears, and silence that felt heavier than yelling, my husband pointed toward the door. "I want you out tonight." I packed in a daze. Clothes, toiletries, my laptop. I dropped things because my hands wouldn't stop shaking. When I drove away, I didn't even cry. I just felt hollow, like something essential had been ripped out of me. I sat in this motel parking lot for almost an hour before it hit me. The dash cam. 6 months ago, I installed one. Motion activated. Records even when the car is off. I'd completely forgotten about it. When I pulled up the footage and saw his mother's car pull into our driveway, saw her look around, saw her unlock my car with a spare key I didn't know she had, saw her lean in and place that watch on the seat. Something inside me went cold. Not grief, not fear. Clarity. I sent the video to my husband with one sentence. "Enjoy living with your mom." Then I turned off my phone and let the truth speak for itself. Because if my marriage could collapse over a lie that fast, then it was never as solid as I thought. Before everything collapsed into accusations and motel rooms, my life was ordinary, in the quiet, comforting way you only appreciate once it's gone. I met my husband 6 years ago, back when nothing felt this complicated. We were introduced through mutual friends at a small get-together. Nothing dramatic, no instant sparks you read about, just conversation that flowed easily. He listened when I spoke. He remembered small details. When the night ended, I realized I hadn't once checked my phone. That should have been my first clue. He was steady, grounded, the kind of man who didn't dominate a room but made it feel safer just by being there. After a string of relationships where I felt like I was constantly auditioning for affection, that steadiness felt like relief. We took things slow. Dates turned into weekends together. Weekends turned into toothbrushes left at each other's places. By the time he asked me to move in, it felt less like a leap and more like a natural next step. His mother, on the other hand, was never subtle. I met her early, too early, in hindsight. The first dinner at her house was polite on the surface, but sharp underneath. Questions disguised as concern. Comments framed as jokes. She smiled while dissecting me. "What do you do again? How ambitious is that, really? And you're sure you can handle marriage?" I laughed things off. Told myself she was just protective, that she'd warm up eventually. She never did. When he proposed, she cried, not happy tears, the kind that made the room uncomfortable. At our wedding, she wore white and gave a speech about how marriage was about compromise and settling. I remember sitting there, hands folded in my lap, smiling for photos while something in my gut twisted. Still, my husband always told me not to worry. "That's just how she is," he'd say. "She means well. She'll come around." So I adjusted. I learned to ignore the unannounced visits, the way she rearranged our furniture because it made more sense this way. The critiques disguised as help. I told myself that marriage meant patience, that love meant choosing peace. And to be fair, when it was just the two of us, things were good. Really good. We built routines, weeknight dinners, lazy Sundays, shared jokes that didn't need explaining. I felt chosen, safe. I trusted him completely. That trust is what makes this hurt so much. Because the pattern was always there. Every disagreement somehow involved her opinion. Every boundary I tried to set turned into a conversation about how I was misunderstanding her intentions. And every time I felt uncomfortable, I swallowed it, because I didn't want to be the wife who made him choose between his mother and me. Looking back, I can see how carefully she positioned herself, close enough to influence, far enough to deny responsibility, always planting doubt, always framing herself as the concerned parent and me as the problem that needed monitoring. I didn't see it clearly then. I believed in my marriage. I believed that 4 years together meant something solid, that my character mattered more than speculation, that if something ever went wrong, he'd talk to me first. That belief was my blind spot, because when the accusation came, it didn't matter how consistent I'd been, how loyal, how present. One planted object, a man's watch I'd never seen before, was enough to rewrite our entire history. And the woman who had waited years for a moment like that finally got it. What hurts most isn't just being framed. It's realizing how long she'd been preparing for this, and how ready he was to believe her. 2 days ago, I came home from work just after 6, a normal weekday, the kind you don't think twice about until it becomes the moment everything breaks. As I pulled into the driveway, I saw them standing there together, my husband and his mother, side by side, too still. The air around them felt wrong, like walking into a room after an argument has already happened. "Hey," I said carefully, shutting the car door. "What's going on?" My husband didn't answer right away. His face was set, unreadable. His mother stared straight ahead, lips pressed together like she was holding back something righteous. "We need to talk," he said finally. "Inside, now." The tone alone made my stomach drop. We walked in, and of course she followed. Like she belonged there. Like this was her house too. Once inside, my husband turned toward me and held something up. A man's watch. Dark leather strap. Heavy metal face. The kind of watch you notice immediately because it doesn't blend in. It announces itself. "Want to explain this?" he asked. My mind stalled. "Explain what?" "I found this in your car," he said, under the passenger seat. For a second, I honestly thought he was joking. I even let out a small, confused laugh before realizing he wasn't smiling. "I've never seen that before," I said. "That's not mine." His mother stepped forward instantly. "Oh, please," she said. "We found it this afternoon. I was getting something from your car, and it was right there." "I don't even know whose watch that is," I said. "It's not mine. I'm not cheating." My husband's jaw tightened. "This looks exactly like the kind of watch your coworker wears," he said quietly. "The guy from your company dinner. The one you said was just a colleague." "He is just a colleague," I said immediately. "I've never touched him. I've never touched anyone else." His mother scoffed. "Men say that too," she said sharply. "My ex-husband said the same thing before I found the hotel receipts." "I'm not your ex-husband," I snapped. "No," she replied coldly. "You're worse." At least he felt guilty. The conversation spiraled fast. Every denial I made was met with another accusation. Every explanation twisted into proof I was gaslighting. His mother kept feeding him lines like she'd rehearsed this moment. "Trust your instincts. Where there's smoke, there's fire." She's manipulating you. An hour passed like that, me defending myself, him pulling further away, her standing there, arms crossed, satisfied. Finally, my husband said the words that still echo in my head. "I want you out tonight." I stared at him. "Are you serious?" "Dead serious," he said. "My mom's staying here until we figure this out. I can't even look at you right now." "Your mother's staying in our house." She smiled, actually smiled. "Someone needs to support my son through this betrayal," she said. I lost it then. "I didn't betray anyone," I said. "This is insane." My husband pointed toward the door. "Get out." I packed what I could, clothes, toiletries, my laptop, hands shaking so badly I kept dropping things. I loaded everything into my car and drove to the first motel I could find. I sat in the parking lot for almost an hour afterward, just numb. Then I remembered the Dashcam. 6 months ago, I installed one, motion activated, records even when the car is off. I'd completely forgotten about it. When I pulled up the footage from the previous afternoon, my blood went cold. There she was, his mother's car pulling into our driveway at 1:47 p.m. She got out, looked around like she was checking for witnesses, then tried my car door. Locked! She pulled out a spare key, the one I didn't even know my husband had given her, and unlocked the passenger side. Leaned in for less than 30 seconds. When she stepped away, the watch was in her hand. The camera caught everything. Her face, her car, her planting the evidence. I watched it on repeat until my hands stopped shaking. Then I downloaded the video, made backups, 3 of them, and I sent it to my husband. No explanation. Just one line. Enjoy living with your mom. Then I turned off my phone. When I turned my phone back on the next morning, it exploded. Notifications stacked faster than I could scroll. Missed calls, voicemails, text messages piling up like people suddenly realized I still existed now that the truth was inconvenient. There were more than 80 missed calls. About half were from my husband. The rest were from his mother, his sister, his father. Some from unknown numbers I didn't recognize but could guess. I didn't listen to the voicemails at first. I just stared at the screen, feeling strangely detached, like I was watching someone else's life unravel. The first text from my husband read, "Please call me. Please. I'm so sorry." The next, "Why didn't you tell me you had a Dashcam?" I watched the video. My mom is lying to my face, saying that isn't her. Please come home. We need to talk. His mother's messages were exactly what I expected. That video is edited. I was just checking if the car was locked. You probably planted that watch yourself. My son deserves better than this. Take that video down immediately. From his sister, "What the hell did my mom do? She's losing her mind. You need to talk to my brother." I didn't respond to any of them. Instead, I called a divorce lawyer. I made the appointment calmly, like I was booking a dentist visit. Monday morning. Consultation confirmed. When I hung up, my hands shook for a moment, then settled. Here's the thing that kept replaying in my head. My husband didn't ask questions. He didn't pause. He didn't give me the benefit of the doubt. 4 years of marriage and a single object planted by his mother outweighed everything he knew about me. That broke something I wasn't sure could be fixed. Around noon, the motel front desk called my room. "Ma'am," the clerk said carefully, "there's a man here asking for your room number. He says he's your husband." "Don't give it to him," I said. "I'll come down." I found him standing in the lobby, shoulders slumped, eyes red, still wearing the same clothes from yesterday. He looked smaller somehow, less certain. "Please," he said the second he saw me. "Can we talk?" "We're talking now." "Not here," he said quickly. "In private. Come home." "That's not my home anymore," I said. "You made that clear." "I made a mistake," he said. "I'm sorry. I watched the video over and over. My mom lied to me. She planted the watch. I know that now." "Good," I said. "Apology noted." He blinked. "That's it? Just good?" "What do you want me to say?" I asked. "You kicked me out based on your mother's word. You didn't hesitate. You didn't trust me." "I was scared," he said. "The evidence was right there." "Evidence your mother planted," I said, "and you didn't even question it." He reached for my hand. I stepped back. "Please," he said, voice breaking. "She's leaving today. I told her she's not welcome here anymore. We can fix this." "Wow," I said flatly. "So the woman who broke into my car and framed me for cheating just leaves?" "What do you want me to do?" he asked. "I don't know yet," I said, "but I do know I'm not coming back right now." His face drained of color. "Are you divorcing me?" "I'm meeting with a lawyer on Monday," I said. "We'll see." "You can't be serious," he said. "Over one mistake?" "One mistake," I repeated. "Your mother committed a crime, and you believed her without proof." "I didn't know," he said quietly. "Exactly," I said. "You didn't know, and you acted anyway." I watched the realization settle in, slow and painful. "What happens next time?" I asked. "What happens when your mom decides she doesn't like something else I do?" He had no answer. "Go home," I said. "Live with your choices. I need space." "How long?" he asked. "As long as it takes." He left the lobby with his head down. I felt bad for maybe 2 seconds. Then I remembered watching the dashcam footage of his mother sneaking around my car like a thief, and the guilt disappeared. An hour after my husband left the motel lobby, my phone rang again. His father. That alone made me pause. He was usually the quiet one, the man who stayed out of conflict, who smoothed things over by pretending they weren't happening. If he was calling, it meant something had shifted. "I saw the video," he said without preamble. His voice sounded tired. "I don't even know what to say." "It's not your fault," I replied automatically. "I know," he said. "But it's still wrong. All of it. I told my son he was wrong to throw you out like that. And I told my wife she crossed a line she can't come back from." That surprised me. "I appreciate that," I said slowly. "But I don't know if an apology fixes this." "I understand," he said. "Just don't give up on my son yet. He loves you. He just has a blind spot when it comes to his mother." "That blind spot almost destroyed my life," I said quietly. I know, he replied. I'll talk to him. After we hung up, my phone buzzed again. A text from my mother-in-law. If you loved my son, you'd come home and stop being dramatic. Dramatic. I stared at the word until it stopped looking real. She broke into my car. She planted evidence to frame me for cheating. She got me thrown out of my own home. And I was being dramatic. I didn't respond. I didn't block her yet either. I wanted every message, every threat, every denial. Evidence has a way of piling up. That afternoon, I met with the lawyer. I laid everything out. The watch, the confrontation, the dashcam footage, getting thrown out without a single question asked. He watched the video twice. This is gold, he said finally. Clear evidence of breaking and entering. Criminal mischief. If you wanted to press charges, you absolutely could. My stomach tightened. I can? Yes, he said. And if your husband had gone to the police accusing you of adultery or theft based on this, it would have made things even worse for her. What about the marriage? I asked. He leaned back. Do you want a divorce or do you want leverage? That question followed me all the way back to the motel. By Tuesday morning, I had a plan. I sent an email to my husband and copied his mother. The tone was professional, cold, controlled. After consultation with legal counsel, I am prepared to press charges against your mother for breaking into my vehicle and planting false evidence. The dash cam footage is clear and time-stamped. However, I am willing to forego legal action if the following conditions are met. I listed them carefully. His mother provides a written apology admitting to her actions. She agrees to have zero contact with me moving forward. My husband and I attend marriage counseling for a minimum of 3 months. He publicly admits to friends and family that he was wrong and that I was faithful. His mother is never allowed in our home again. If these conditions are not met by Friday at 5:00 p.m., I will file a police report and proceed with divorce. The response was immediate. His mother called from a blocked number. I answered, thinking it was work. How dare you threaten me? She shrieked. I will not apologize for protecting my son. You didn't protect him, I said evenly. You tried to destroy his marriage. Because you're not good enough for him, she snapped. He could have married someone better, someone ambitious. And that gives you the right to frame me for cheating? I didn't frame anyone, she said. You probably planted that watch yourself. I have video of you doing it, I replied. That video is fake, she said instantly. Edited. Your husband works in tech. You probably manipulated it. Funny, I said. He didn't think I was good enough until you needed him to defend you. She hung up on me. 2 hours later, my husband called. Can we talk? He asked quietly. Face to face. Just us. 1 hour, I said. Coffee shop on 5th. Don't bring your mother. He agreed. When we met, he looked worse than before, exhausted, defeated. Your email was harsh, he said. The truth usually is, I replied. My mom says you're trying to control me, he continued. I'm protecting myself, I said. She committed a crime. She won't apologize, he admitted. She's too proud. Then I file the report Friday, I said. Can't you just let it go? He asked softly. For us? I laughed before I could stop myself. She tried to destroy my life, I said. And you want me to let it go? Silence stretched between us. You haven't once asked me how I'm doing, I continued. You're only worried about protecting her. That's not fair, he said weakly. You know what's not fair, I replied. Being accused of cheating when I never even looked at another man. Being thrown out of my own house, sitting alone in a motel watching your mother frame me on camera. He had nothing to say. Your mother needs to face consequences, I said, and you need to decide whose side you're on. Why do I have to choose? He asked. Because she committed a crime against me, and you enabled it. He started crying, quietly, shoulders shaking, head down. I love you, he said. I love my mom. Then you've already made your choice, I said. I stood up and left him there. For the first time in years, I felt terrible and free at the same time, like I had finally stopped shrinking myself to keep the peace. That night was the quietest night of my life. No phone calls, no texts, no footsteps in the hallway outside my motel room. Just me, the dim glow of the bedside lamp, and the weight of everything I'd finally said out loud. When I lay down, sleep didn't come. Every time I closed my eyes, my mind replayed the same scenes on a loop. Him pointing to the door, his mother smiling behind him, the watch in his hand like a verdict already delivered. I kept thinking about how easily it all fell apart. 4 years of marriage, thousands of shared moments, inside jokes, late-night talks, plans we hadn't even gotten around to yet. And it took less than an hour for him to believe the worst version of me. That was the part that hurt the most. Not the accusation, not even being thrown out, but how quickly I became someone unrecognizable in his eyes. Sometime after midnight, my phone buzzed. A message from his sister. I'm so sorry. I watched the video. I don't know how she could do something like that. I stared at the screen for a long time before replying. Thank you, I typed. I just need space. She responded almost immediately. She's calling a family meeting tomorrow. She wants everyone there. She says you're manipulating my brother. Of course she was. I turned the phone face down and pressed my palms into my eyes, trying to breathe through the tightness in my chest. My whole body felt exhausted, but my mind refused to slow down. That's when the doubt crept in. Not about the truth. I knew the truth. But about the cost. Was I really prepared to burn everything down over this? To press charges? To walk away from a marriage that, until days ago, I still believed in? I thought about the woman I used to be, the one who swallowed discomfort to keep things smooth, the one who laughed off insults and called them jokes, the one who told herself this is just how families are. That woman would have gone home. She would have apologized for something she didn't do. She would have accepted a quiet compromise and hoped it never happened again. But I wasn't her anymore. Still, the loneliness hit hard. I curled onto my side, staring at the peeling paint on the wall, and let the reality settle in. No matter how justified I was, this was the price of standing my ground. I was alone in a motel room, my marriage hanging by a thread, my future suddenly wide open and terrifying. At around 3 a.m, I finally cried. Not loud, not dramatic, just silent tears soaking into the pillow, grief leaking out of me in waves. Grief for what I thought I had. Grief for the trust I realized had never fully existed. And beneath it all, a deeper fear. What if this was it? What if choosing myself meant losing everything else? By the time dawn crept through the thin curtains, my eyes burned and my chest ached. I sat up on the bed, pulled my knees close, and stared at my phone. Friday was coming. The deadline I set wasn't just for them. It was for me. Whatever happened next, there would be no going back to how things were. Something had to give. Wednesday morning, my phone buzzed before I'd even finished my first cup of motel coffee. It was my sister-in-law. "Can I buy you lunch?" she asked. "I need to talk to you." I hesitated, then agreed. We met at a small restaurant halfway between her place and the motel. She didn't waste time on pleasantries. The moment we sat down, she leaned forward, eyes serious. "My mom is losing it," she said. "She called a family meeting for tonight, wants everyone there." I let out a slow breath. To gang up on me. "Exactly," she said. "But here's the thing. I'm not going." That made me look up. "My husband isn't either," she continued. "We're done with her manipulation." I stared at her, stunned. "I watched the video," she said. "All of it. Mom has always been controlling, but this is criminal. She tried to destroy your marriage, and now she's playing the victim." Something in my chest loosened for the first time in days. "What about my husband?" I asked. "She's furious at him," she said. "But she's been weird about our relationship too, always commenting on my husband, his career, his ambition. I didn't realize how toxic it was until now." I nodded slowly. "He's deep in it. She's got her claws in him," she said. But I told him straight, "What you're asking for is reasonable. An apology, boundaries, accountability." When we left, I felt something I hadn't felt since this started. Support. That night, my husband called. "They had the meeting," he said quietly. "Let me guess," I replied. "They think I'm the villain." "Some do," he admitted. "My aunt thinks you're overreacting. My uncle says we should just forget it." "And you?" He hesitated. "My sister and her husband walked out after 10 minutes. They told everyone exactly what they thought of my mom." I smiled despite myself. Good for them. "My dad stayed quiet most of the night," he continued. "But at the end, he said if you press charges, he won't blame you." That surprised me. "What did your mom do?" I asked. "She screamed at him," he said. "They're sleeping in separate rooms now." I closed my eyes. The fallout was spreading faster than I expected. "She still won't apologize," he said. "She keeps saying the video is fake, that you're making everything up." "That's her choice," I said. "She's not well," he added weakly. "Mentally." "That's not my problem to fix," I replied. Silence stretched between us. "Tomorrow's Friday," he said finally. "The deadline." "I know," I said. "I don't know what to do," he admitted. "You follow the conditions," I said calmly. "Counseling, public admission, boundaries. If you can't do that, we're done." "You'd really divorce me over this?" he asked. "I'd divorce you for choosing your lying, manipulative mother over your wife," I said. "Yes." He didn't argue. Friday came with no apology, no agreement, no response. By Saturday morning, I knew exactly what I had to do. I walked into the police station just after 9. I showed them the dashcam footage, explained everything. The officer watched it twice. "This is cut and dry," he said. "Breaking and entering. Criminal mischief. We'll send an officer to take her statement." What happens next? I asked. That's up to the district attorney, he said. But with this video, she's looking at charges. I walked out feeling strange, not relieved, not angry, resolved. 2 hours later, my phone rang. My father-in-law. The police just left our house, he said. Your husband is having a meltdown. I warned him, I said quietly. I know, he replied. I'm not calling to ask you to drop it. I'm calling to tell you I'm filing for divorce too. I stopped walking. What? I've been married to this woman for 33 years, he said. I watched her manipulate everyone around her. I always made excuses. But framing her own daughter-in-law for cheating? Destroying her son's marriage? I'm done. I didn't know what to say. My son is starting therapy, he continued. For the first time, he admitted his mother has controlled him his whole life. Is he okay? I asked. No, he said honestly, but he will be. I stood there on the sidewalk, phone pressed to my ear, realizing something profound had shifted. This wasn't just about me anymore. The truth had cracked open a system that had been broken for decades, and there was no way to close it again. The days after the police report felt unreal, like time had lost its normal rhythm. Everything kept moving, but I felt suspended inside it, watching consequences roll out one by one, knowing I'd triggered them, but no longer in control of where they landed. The first call came from my father-in-law again. They charged her, he said quietly. Misdemeanor breaking and entering. Criminal mischief. I closed my eyes and leaned against the motel wall. She tried to argue it was a misunderstanding, he continued, that she had permission to access your car, that she was just checking something. And the video, I asked? That killed the story, he said. The footage of her looking around before unlocking the door. The messages she sent your husband about finally having proof you were cheating. Her lawyer pushed for a plea deal. No jail time. 1 year of probation. Mandatory anger management counseling. And a restraining order. She has to stay 500 feet away from you, my lawyer explained later. Given what she's already done, this is about protecting you. For the first time since this started, I felt something close to relief. My husband spiraled. He called constantly at first. Apologies. Promises. Long, rambling voicemails where he tried to explain how confused he was, how torn he felt, how he never imagined it would go this far. I didn't answer. Then the calls slowed, turned into texts, shorter, more careful. I'm in therapy now, 3 times a week. My therapist says my mom has been emotionally abusive my whole life. I read them without responding. His father moved out of the house a few days later, packed a bag, and went to stay with my sister-in-law. 33 years of marriage reduced to a single decision made too late, but still made. She's alone now, my sister-in-law told me over the phone. She calls everyone nonstop, crying, saying you destroyed the family. Do you answer? I asked. No, she said. None of us do. My husband finally blocked her number. That, more than anything else, told me how deep this had gone. 2 weeks after my deadline passed, he asked to meet me for coffee. I almost said no, but something in me needed to see him again. Not as my husband, not as the man who threw me out, but as a person stripped of his mother's voice in his head. We sat across from each other in silence at first. I saw the divorce papers, he said quietly. I understand why. I haven't filed them yet, I replied. He looked up surprised. Why not? Because I'm trying to figure out if there's anything left to save, I said honestly. You hurt me, and I don't know if I can trust you again. I want to try, he said. I want to prove I can choose you, that I can stand up to her. You should have done that from the beginning, I said. I know, he whispered. He asked me to go to counseling with him, not as a promise of reconciliation, but as a way to find clarity, together or apart. I agreed. The first session was brutal. The therapist asked me what I needed to move forward. I need to know he'll have my back, I said. That he won't believe the worst version of me without proof. That his mother will never be allowed to interfere in our lives again. The therapist turned to him. Can you do that? Yes, he said without hesitation. I swear, she's cut off, completely. We'll see, I thought. As of now, I'm still in the motel, not ready to go home, not ready to pretend things are normal. He's in therapy 4 times a week. I'm in therapy too. His father checks in occasionally. His sister calls just to ask how I'm holding up. His mother? Last I heard, she's telling anyone who will listen that I'm abusive, controlling, that I fabricated the video, that I stole her son from her. No one's buying it. She lost her entire family in one move. Do I feel bad? Not even a little. Because what she's facing isn't revenge. It's consequence. 3 weeks ago, I was still the woman who believed love meant endurance. Enduring discomfort, enduring disrespect, enduring silence when something felt wrong. I thought marriage was about compromise, about swallowing your own instincts to keep the peace. I thought being patient would eventually earn me loyalty, trust, protection. I was wrong. The divorce papers are still sitting on my lawyer's desk, unsigned. Not because everything is fixed, not because I've forgiven what happened, but because for the first time I'm choosing deliberately instead of out of fear. My husband sent me a long email last night, pages of it. Apologies without excuses, admissions without deflection. He didn't ask me to come home. He didn't pressure me for reassurance. He just acknowledged, fully, how badly he failed me. I know I don't deserve another chance, he wrote, but if you give me one, I'll spend the rest of my life proving you made the right choice. I don't know yet if I believe him. Trust doesn't rebuild itself with words. It rebuilds with time, consistency, and choices made when it's inconvenient. What I do know is this: I'm not the same woman I was a month ago. I'm the woman who didn't go back just to make things easier. The woman who didn't apologize for something she didn't do. The woman who set boundaries and enforced them, even when it cost her comfort. Whether this marriage survives or not, I already won something far more important: my self-respect. I learned that love without protection isn't love, it's risk. That loyalty means nothing if it disappears the moment doubt is introduced, and that family, when toxic, doesn't deserve unlimited access to your life just because they share blood. Some people told me I should have forgiven and forgotten, that pressing charges was extreme, that standing my ground was dramatic. They're wrong. Some things aren't misunderstandings. Some actions are deliberate, and some consequences are earned. My mother-in-law tried to destroy my life. She failed. And now she's living with the fallout of her own choices. As for me, I'm focusing on therapy, on work, on rebuilding a sense of safety that doesn't depend on anyone else's approval. Whether I end up reconciling or walking away for good, I'll be doing it on my terms. I will never again bite my tongue while someone disrespects me. I will never again shrink myself to keep someone else comfortable. And that's the lesson I'm taking with me, no matter what comes next. Thank you to everyone who shared support, advice, or similar stories. You reminded me that choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. If this story resonated with you, feel free to comment, share, or subscribe. And if you're facing something similar, take this as your reminder: your boundaries matter. I'll see you in the next video. And in the meantime, take care of yourself.